Hello, and welcome to Episode 8 of O'side De-Mystified. I'm your host and council member, Rick Robinson. The goal of this program is to inform and educate on the operations and governance of our city. Today, I'm going to vary from that goal slightly. My guest for this session is not a city employee. However, she and the organization she represents plays an important role in the lives of a large number of our residents. If you are a veteran or active duty military, you will want to pay particular attention to our discussion. When we return, I will demystify this special guest and the organization that serves so many Oceanside residents. We'll be right back.
Is that everything?
Yeah, I think so. Love you.
All right, love you. Bye.
Dad, wait!
Thanks.
I bet that's U.S. Coast Guard approved. Bro, I didn't know the lifeguard was coming out with us today.
What are you, a lifeguard now?
All aboard.
I thought you knew how to swim, Bubba. Bro, I've got a family. I'm doing it for the ones I love.
Welcome back. And as promised, I'm going to introduce you to a very special person that over the years now has become a very good friend of mine. She, while not a city employee, she's very, very important, and the organization that she represents is very important to the city. And this is Lori Boody with the Veterans Association of North County. We just call it VANC for short, but hi, Lori.
Hi, Rick. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you're here. We always like to start off, this is O'side Demystified, and we always kind of want to look at the things that people may not know or how we can help the public get services and things like that. So because you're with the Veterans Association, we're going to try and focus on our veterans and our active duty military in this session, which I know you're very well versed in. But before we get to that, can you talk a little bit about yourself and how you got to VANC, and then we'll talk about what VANC is.
Sure. Well, I guess I'm going to have to start just from childhood. No, just kidding you. My family is 4 generations in country giving in the service. So we've been a very military family all my life. And service has just been something I was raised with. That's what we learned when I was growing up. Volunteering is what you did. And our family just felt that way, and that's why we've always been that way. I've been in nonprofit my entire adult life, working for nonprofits, helping them, mostly through the American Cancer Society is where my background is.
And that's where you and I met. Was
that's correct.
Through that, if I remember right, we were in an event and some crazy lady came running up to me when I was fire chief saying, I need your help with something. And that was kind of how that went.
That's exactly right. You were kind of new to being the fire chief, so I wanted to make sure I grabbed you right when you came
There
in.
you go.
I've been in Oceanside for over 40 years living here, so I was really excited when I learned we were going to have a new fire chief. And then when I saw you at the event, I knew.
And there it was.
And there it was, right out there. So as far as the veterans goes, that's where my heart's always been. It's been with the military. Most recently, my brother was the most recent military person. He's part of the American Legion. It's one of our members that you also.
Well, I was going to say, that's funny because I'm part of the American Legion Post 760, by the way.
Exactly, one of the best posts around.
Right.
So exactly. So that's how it all fruition. I volunteered at VANC for years prior to actually taking the position. There was no position available. And the founder and President Chuck Atkinson, who completely is the reason VANC exists, I would volunteer for him in setting the things up and all. But we were really blessed with the city and the help from the city because the city gave us, which used to be the old police department, property at 16 and 17 Mission Avenue. So when they gave us that property, gutted it out, just a shell, 2.5 years later, we have a beautiful facility that we have, the 13,500 square feet facility that we have currently right now. And it's been a blessing from the city to help us with that.
So I'm glad you mentioned Chuck, because I think people need to understand that this whole thing that you do, and I probably wasn't fair when I introduced you. What's your title with VANC?
I'm the executive director.
Executive director. And how many employees do you oversee?
None. I am the only employee, so
I did
don't
that on
get too
purpose.
excited because I'm the janitor too at times. So.
Right. And I asked that for a specific reason, because I want people to know that this operation that goes on there is very lean and it is volunteer dependent.
Correct.
And but anyways, I did want people to know about Chuck and that everything they see there today started with one individual who...
An amazing man. Chuck is a 3-branch veteran. So he served Air Force, served in the Coast Guard, and then, of course, his true blue, the Marine Corps.
Right. So tell me a little bit about VANC. What do you do? What's it for?
We're a resource center. So we're a resource center for all active duty military veterans and their families. So in turn, when they have a need just about of anything, we are going to be able to direct them for help if we can personally help them ourselves.
And I know you talk about member groups that are part of VANC. A lot of times people think VANC is the thing, but there are groups that belong to the Veterans Association, correct?
Correct. The Veterans Association of North County, VANC, is a membership organization in the form that we are the post for 17 different veteran organizations and Friends of VANC. Friends of VANC are more of companies or corporations that just want to support the military. So what we do is, when I say we're their post, they actually can have their meetings. Your viewers might be aware of other towns and cities where they go and the American Legion has a building of their own. The Women Marines have a building of their own. Well, we are the building, the umbrella organization for all of those. So they use our space to have their monthly meetings, their fundraising events. We have a full commercial kitchen for them to use for their events, as well as a full bar for them to use. And we also rent that space out.
And I think you did forget the one employee that I enjoy the most is the bartender.
He's not an employee, he's a volunteer,
Okay.
and he's one of my favorite people in the entire world. I just love him to death. It's my husband.
Right. And he's one of my favorite bartenders, by the way. But that aside, can you talk a little bit about the different groups that are there? I mean, you mentioned a couple of them, the American Legion, but what other groups?
Wow, there's so many. We have the Marine Corps League. The Marine Corps League is a wonderful organization. Most of our organizations, because they were in the military, they're just service-oriented, so they want to give back. So that's what they do, either through scholarships or just community service time. The Women Marines is a great organization, just as it sounds, women who served, and it's a wonderful organization. They're big in scholarship giving as well to do that. We have the Buffalo Soldiers, great guys. It's an actually motorcycle group that is part of ours. Well, I could go on and on and on.
Montford Point Marines?
Montford Point Marines are there. Yeah, we have quite the...
And I would say that the interesting thing from my perspective, and I'm always in awe when I go there, because there's World War II veterans, Korea War veterans, Vietnam, so many different people with so many different experiences. And it's kind of humbling to actually be amongst some of these people. How do you work with Camp Pendleton, our neighbor?
We're very, very close to Camp Pendleton. We are a training center as well. So I can't even say how many cohorts we've put through there at this point, but we do transition programs, and they're more of a transformation program, because we do training, mentoring, as well as teaching them how to go from military life to civilian life. It's a huge leap. People don't understand what a leap it is. Once they've served for so many years, that's what they're used to. So and the world has changed a lot since they went in, most of them. So it's a good way to be able to do that. So we have a really good relationship in the form that we're there for them. We have a fund that we refer to as a Veterans Emergency Financial Aid Fund, VEFA fund.
Okay.
That fund, we give thousands and thousands of dollars annually to those who need a hand up. It's a one-time hand up, but it's normally only like $200 or $300, but it gets them over that hump when they have that emergency car repair or utility bill. During COVID, 91% of the active duty spouses were furloughed. So the income was quite the hit. So that's when we started the food and diaper distribution, and that's when your American Legion Post 760, we teamed up and did that. So we just have a really good relationship with Camp Pendleton all the way around.
So raising money is important to VANC, correct?
Yes.
Why don't you talk a little bit about some of the fundraisers that you do?
Okay, well, as you know, we're a 501c3. We're a nonprofit. We have no state or federal funding, so the only funds we do get is through our fundraising or the occasional grant that the Lord gives me, or the actual help from an individual who just writes us a check. So we do 2 major fundraisers a year, and the first one is our car show. We do a car show with beautiful old rides that come in.
I've been there. It's amazing.
So amazing to see these cars. So that's one of our fundraisers we do right in our own parking lot once a month, and that's usually somewhere between April and May, that time frame. And then September, October, we do a golf tournament. Naturally, we use the beautiful course on Camp Pendleton, and the civilians get to come onto Camp Pendleton and play. And those are two of our big fundraisers we're doing. We'll be bringing a lot more our way in 2024, but we're just coming back from COVID.
So, and I always tell people this time goes really fast when we're sitting there talking about things. So I want to make sure we get in a couple things. The beautiful memorial that's being built. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Rather than a memorial, it's an honor wall.
Honor wall,
yes,
excuse me.
because we have a lot of active duty on there, so we don't want to go there.
Okay.
So our honor wall, it's a beautiful section where we're going to have an outdoor facility for event space. So we already have weddings booked there. We actually have some promotions, active duty military promotions, that'll be there. We're currently having people order the plaques right now. There's 4 different size plaques for an individual, 2 different sizes for units, and then for the whole battalion type plaques that we can have the actual names put onto. They're bronze plaques. They're being made right now. And we're hoping...
get mine ordered then, huh?
Yeah, you need to order it
Right.
pretty quick now. We have developed the space now so we can put up to 1,000 plaques. We're real excited about it. We doubled our space and our new layout. So that's great news for us. But it's going to be just a beautiful spot where you can come and honor those who have served. And as long as they're an American veteran or current active duty, they're welcome to have a plaque on our wall. And, you know, there's no place in North County other than on Camp Pendleton itself that you can walk up and honor the military. And it's just, we're here in Camp Pendleton's our backyard. And so we wanted to make sure we had a spot that did just that and they could come in and honor them.
Yeah, it's coming out. You can see it shape up. It's really becoming a beautiful facility. And I'm very proud to be part of the city and a group that there. I know there's other events that you do for veterans to honor. Can you briefly hit a couple of those?
The biggest one that we're doing right now is our Christmas parties. We do 4 active duty unit Christmas parties. So that we invite the active duty, their spouses, and the kids. They come and VANC pays for it all. We get a Santa Claus in there. We give a toy to every child. We give them a full holiday meal, as well as just an evening of entertainment for them to have. And that's a big deal that we do. So we're looking forward to that one. And with that goes a toy drive that I put on so that making sure we have enough toys.
Right.
We average about 320 toys a year that we give out.
Nice. I also want you to be able to give a little commercial for the space that you have. If somebody had an event, if they want to have a retirement party per se, or a wedding or anything like the birthday party, do you have space available for those things or for meetings?
As I said, we have no funding, so that is the way that one of our main fundraisers is the event space. So whether it's a event with 10 people who just simply wants to have a meeting there, we have that space, to over 200 in our huge event banquet room.
And if somebody was interested in that, how would they go about?
They can go online to vanc.me, or they can simply give us a call, 760-722-1277.
And I can just vouch for the facilities and the quality of the product that you guys offer. Your chef is amazing. The food's great. I held my retirement from the fire department party. There was over 200 people there, and everything was just amazing. It was great. And of course, Michael had the bar there. And it was, thanks, Lori. Folks, we'll be back in just a second with a little more.
In this festive season, we extend heartfelt greetings to each of you. As we gather to show our moments of gratitude, our deepest appreciation goes to all. Your unwavering dedication and personal sacrifices for our country are truly commendable.
To those in uniform, your commitment forms the bedrock of our freedom. For the families supporting our heroes, your strength and resilience are the pillars of our military. Let's cherish moments of joy, reflect on our shared purpose, and express gratitude to those dear to us for the bonds that strengthen us.
Thank you for your service and sacrifices, contributing to the strength of our combined ROC and US team. From the 2nd Infantry ROC US Combined Division, we wish you a blessed, enjoyable, and safe holiday season.
May the warmth of the holidays bring comfort to you and yours, and may the upcoming year be filled with hope and new beginnings. Happy holidays!
Your Miramar Commissary benefit offers value, convenience, and premier customer service in a modern, safe environment, while saving you at least 25 cents on the dollar compared to off-base grocers. Want to shop the commissary but short on time? Your local commissary offers shopping convenience made easier with its Commissary Click-to-Go mobile app. Customers can access the commissary's online payment, curbside pickup, or delivery option, and much more. The mobile app is free for download through the Google Play and iOS app stores. Need an extra boost of energy for the day? Visit the dietitian-approved fueling stations located near the front-end checkout aisles. These stations offer tasty, nutritious meals and snacks to give you the convenience you need without the high calories or high cost of fast food. Don't forget to check out commissaries.com for meal planning tips, healthy recipes, and local store information.
Lori, I know there's so many things that we've talked about that you do at VANC, and this next topic that I want to cover kind of impacts the city greatly. As you know, homelessness is it's probably one of our top 2 issues in the city all the time when we ask people. Homeless veterans is a rising group. And can you talk a little bit about what VANC or the groups at VANC are doing to assist our homeless veterans?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, 2 words that I don't think should ever be in a vocabulary of any form is homeless and veterans in the same sentence.
I agree.
But it's happening more and more. It is our growing population, our number 1 growth population for VANC is our homeless veterans. And we have a foundation for homeless veterans that is one of our members, right, that we work with. And we work really close with them. And that's one of my big grant writings that I do for that. What we do is we have temporary housing, bridge housing, it's referred to as, and the VASH hotel vouchers that we're able to get, that we're going to get a roof over their head. Because the number 1 thing that we do is get them off the street, get a roof over their head. That's the number 1 thing for us. We have veterans living in their cars. We have veterans living in tents. We have veterans everywhere, except for stable home housing. So we have different groups that will give money towards that. We have different groups that will volunteer towards that. Part of our membership will be we have clothing drives just for that. But the Foundation for Homeless Veterans, they actually work with the veteran one-on-one and the family members. Things that they'll do for them is they'll actually help them get cleaned up. We get haircuts. We take care of them to get them feeling good again. We usually start with a 3-night hotel stay so they can get, themselves freshened up. We always make sure that we have a barber available for them so they can get a nice haircut and just feel good again. Interesting enough, a lot of them will have a pet with them because they need something that they can care for that cares for them. And unfortunately, a lot of the homeless veterans have gotten situations where they just can't unsee what they saw. And it's just really hard for them when they come back to adjust. And that's what we help them doing. We have mental health clinics that will help them as well, that we put them through on a voluntary basis.
Are those things that are done at VANC, the building itself, or is a lot of it referred out, or how do you do that?
The psychiatrists and psychologists will come into VANC that we have, as well as, the hotels, of course, we put them into a hotel stay.
Now, the VASH vouchers, are those done in coordination with the city, or how does that work?
It's in coordination with the city, yes, and the county sometimes.
Okay. Then you put them up at local hotels?
Yes, most of the time, the VASH coupons have run out.
Right.
Yes, so we're just literally putting them up through the VIFA fund right now with the hands up that I was telling you about earlier. Yes, so we just pay for that for them, and we give them little meal vouchers.
I know there's an event that goes on, and I don't know a lot about it, but Operation Stand Down happens, do you participate in that at all? Or?
The North County Stand Down, when it started, I was their executive director to start it off.
Okay.
And so now it's going, matter of fact, it was just being held. And what they do is they offer services for veterans for all forms, from legal to DMV to clothing, dental, vision. It's all available for them for 3 days.
So that, again, gets homeless that are living on the street, allows them, or in their cars or whatever, allows them to come in and get those wraparound services that they need.
Exactly.
Get them feeling good again and get them to the help that they need to sustain them.
Exactly. And then we'll also help them in being able to get job sourcing. So whether that's just from dishwashers at restaurants to, all types of forms of service industries where we're going to help put them in.
Would you say there's a particular age group that's more prominent in our homeless veteran population? Or
That's a tough one to say. As I said, it's our most growing population. Right now, we're seeing a lot of Afghanistan veterans.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a tough exiting out of there for them.
Okay. And I know you talked about some live in their cars and things like that. How about employment? Some of them have jobs? Although they may be homeless, I'm kind of quoting, but do some have jobs? Are they able to hold down jobs and work?
Some of them can. Others have gotten themselves where we need to put them into a detox program sometimes. In other words, they aren't ready to go back into the workforce. However, having said that, probably 80% of them are employable. Once we get them cleaned up and they go into a job interview, what's the first thing they're going to ask you, other than your name, is your address? Well, they don't have one. So that's a big part of it. So once we get them stable, get some form of home and housing in there, then they're good to go.
So if somebody wanted to help in this regard with homeless, what is the need? What can people do if they say, when we talk about helping the homeless, a lot of people do a lot of great work, but there may be people that want to target on, for lack of a better word, this particular group of individuals, that veterans.
Like I said, depending on who's asking. If it's a barber, hey, we'd love you to come on and offer your services to them free, or let us take them to you, offer your services. If it's someone who just wants to give some time and spend some time with them, sitting down and speaking with a homeless person, you're going to see it's just somebody who hit a bad streak most of the time. So many people are one paycheck away from being homeless. It's amazing. And when you hear their stories, and if you take the time to listen to their stories, you can imagine how it could happen to you, or God forbid your child once you're gone. It just can happen to anybody. Yeah. And the number one way to help is the same way with VANC. Give some of your time. If you have an hour or so, we will help you. We have things you can do to help homeless, whether it's making some of our little packs up. We give toiletry packs to each homeless veteran. So that'll just be like little shampoos, it has things like soap and a hand cloth, toothbrush, toothpaste, little packs like that. But those need to be made up. So if you have time, you want to come in and help with the pack making, that's a great thing you can do. Obviously, financial help is always needed because, as I said, VANC just pays for their hotel stay. So that would help us that way as well. There's just so many ways if your viewers want to help. Just stop by VANC. We have a list of ways they could help.
Find something for them to do. And for those that have pets, is there something special there? Do you work with animal services or in the city? Do they need any vet care, anything like that? Or?
Yes, we do have a veterinarian that offers his services complimentary for our vets. So that's a great thing. We have a couple of stores that give us gracious discounts for pet supplies. So that helps us a lot to be able to take care of them. The only thing we haven't gotten down yet is the washing of the pets, the beauty shop for the pet. We're still right now looking for someone who will donate to that.
Okay. Some of the support groups, and I know a couple things that go on with your group. You have a writing group?
Yes. Our San Diego writing group is an amazing, they're just so tremendous. What it is they say, if you have a story to tell, let us help you tell it. But the interesting part about it is anybody who's served has an interesting story to tell. It's an amazing thing, from what made him decide to sign that contract that says, yes, I'm willing to give my life to the country, to the guy who just went out in the field and just did some amazing things out there. Everybody has a story. And they're on their 4th book that they've actually published with stories inside. It's an incredible thing. And the best thing about these books, they sell them for $10 for the books. The proceeds go to the hospitals and to the senior centers and all, wherever the veterans are, to the veteran hospital or the senior centers in their veteran areas.
If people are interested in that through the VANC, come to and order them there, or how do they do
Yeah,
that?
they can go right onto the website and go onto the writers, hit one of our links for our groups, and you'll see that, our members, and you'll see that they have their own link, and you can link onto that, or come into Vance and we can take care of that.
I don't know if this fits, but I just thought of it. Fisher House, do you do work?
Well, we do volunteer work for Fisher House Advance. So we have our veterans that go out.
What is that? I should have.
Oh, I'm sorry. Fisher House is the house on Camp Pendleton. That's when we have military that have hospital stays and hospital needs. They have the family stay in that house free of charge while their loved one is in the hospital. So whether they're served overseas and came in, or they're just having an injury from the military. In the hospital.
So you do support that kind of activity?
Yes, we have a very, very strong support with Fisher House and Vance.
And the other thing that you do have there for fun, if people want to come and have fun, you have your monthly bingo, I believe, still?
It's every Wednesday night.
Or Wednesday, that's right.
Yes, so the doors open at 4, 6 o'clock bingo will start. It's the regular full-on bingo. Every game pays $200, and then they have a consolation prize, in other words, second place, $50.
And food's available.
Right, our chef does his amazing things. The chef can cook incredible filet mignon to his hamburgers and hot dogs that are delicious. It's just pretty amazing how eclectic
French
he
fries
is.
Are pretty good.
And the French fries are the best in town. I love our chef's French fries.
Okay. Well, I think we got all the commercials in that we're going to get on this one. But anyways, I wanted to thank you again for coming in today and talking about all the things related to our veterans and how people can help. Is there anything before we close that we maybe didn't touch in the last minute or so that we have?
Just that, as I said, we're a volunteer-based organization. If any of your viewers have a couple hours a week that they'd like to come on in and volunteer, we'd love to have them their help. Or, of course, any financial help is always blessed with.
Perfect. And I just hope that this message gets out and your volunteer numbers jump up, your donations jump up as we approach the holidays here, and that to talk about our veterans and our active duty personnel and the things that Vance does. I think a lot of times you take a back seat, the organization, and you personally take a back seat to all the things going on around you. And just as a veteran, I want to say thank you for all the things that you do and that Chuck does and that all the volunteers at Vance do to advance the cause. So thank you.
Appreciate that, but thank you for your service. And more importantly, I'd like to ask your viewers to do a little prayer for our service people right now. The world's a bit of a turmoil, and we're just praying it's going to not go anywhere else.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So thank you, Laurie, for being here.
Thank you. Bless you.
We'll be right back. Thank you.
Volunteers come here and they socialize with the dogs and cats. They get to take the dogs out for walks, and that's not something we normally have time to do.
In addition to interacting with the dogs and cats, I would definitely pick up after them, wash them, do whatever I can to take care of them as if they were already being owned, so they get used to it before they're actually adopted, have a better chance of getting adopted. Come out and volunteer, even if you may not be used to animals. At least it gives you something to do, something to feel like you're not always working. Get some kind of entertainment in your day, your week, your month.
As a veteran myself, I so greatly appreciate the work and service that is provided by the Veterans Association of North County. If you're a veteran and have not connected with others who served, I encourage you to seek out one of the many veterans groups that meet at Vance. If you are looking to volunteer or if you have the ability to bless others financially, consider Vance and how you may serve those who have served us. This episode is airing in December, so in closing, I wish all of you the happiest of holidays. I hope to be back in the new year with new episodes of O'side De-Mystified. Your feedback is appreciated, and you can get that to me by texting 760-216-7587 or visit OsideD2.com. As we head into a new year, remember that O'side is a great place to live, work, and play. I'm your host and council member, Rick Robinson.